Welcome back to Tuesday 10 Talk, where I take a topic, throw it at you, make you think for 10 minutes. I'm Scott Foster, your host, and thanks for joining me. So, just a quick update from my last Tuesday 10 Talk. I talked about the Major League Baseball season and what happens when the teams test positive for coronavirus. Now, we talked about the Marlins. Since then, the Marlins have been put on hold. Philadelphia has been put on hold, and now we have cases in St. Louis as well, the Cardinals. Now, all of them have kind of been put on hold, and it's remained to be seen whether or not they'll be able to make up any of those games within the time period allotted. Major League wanted to start their series, their postseason, mid to end of September. So we'll see what happens. And what does that do to the chances for those teams to make the postseason? Very interesting indeed. Now, on to our topic of the day. Now, it's summertime. It's August 1st. By now, in a normal world, we would have seen many blockbusters. Many movies have come out. Of course, not really any summer big blockbuster Marvel movies this year, except for Black Widow, which would have been way back in May. Now we've seen all these movies get pushed. And a summer without a major blockbuster movie. What does that do for us? What has that done for you? Now, my question is, what movie have you missed the most? What movie did you know was coming out this year? Whether it be Chris Nolan's new movie, Tenet, getting all the hype. Of course, that movie is getting a lot of hype for reasons I'll talk about quickly in a moment. Maybe it's Top Gun, the sequel, the long-awaited sequel to the Tom Cruise star. Or maybe it was Mulan. Maybe you have kids at home and you were excited to go see Mulan, the live-action version of the Disney epic animated movie. And maybe it was Greyhound, the Tom Hanks star. All these movies got pushed or had found another revenue stream. Now, that's the whole dilemma here is, do we get these movies out? How do we get these movies out? Movie theaters across the world are just starting to open up. And here in the United States, we'll be lucky to see actual movie theaters open up before the end of the month. In the UK, they're starting to open up a little bit earlier. And what is that doing to the release schedule of some of these movies? It's so convoluted. It's such an interesting concept that has been put forth to the studios and us as viewers. Now, some of these movies have been just automatically kicked to streaming services. Greyhound, Tom Hanks' war movie, not going to get a film release, not going to get a theatrical release, went straight to Apple. So unless you have Apple, you're not going to see it. And so that's one thing that's happening. Some movies, like Tom Cruise' Top Gun, which was originally pushed to Christmas Day, it was going to be a Christmas present to us all, has now been pushed almost over a year to July 4th weekend of next year, 2021. And so the release schedule of all these movies we've been looking forward to seeing has been pushed. Mulan, still up in the air, possibly this fall. That could be pushed again. It's still an uncertain time. It's still an uncertain period. Now, movie theaters want to open, but are you going to go see a movie right now? Are you going to go to the movie theater? Now, even though it's only going to be, the max it would be is 50% capacity, and probably everybody, if they haven't already, the movie theaters around you, getting a ticket and a reserved seating. I know AMC does it already, but most probably will go to reserved seating and limited seating. And you're supposed to wear a mask. I know some people don't really want to do that. There's that group of people out there that feel like it's unnecessary. But you're indoors for over 2 hours. If you go to see Tenet, you're almost in there for 4 hours. Not wearing a mask. Are you going to go to a movie theater? Are you going to go to a movie theater opening weekend to see what happens? Maybe you wait for a minute, a weekend, or a week, and see what happens. It's very interesting, all these dynamics that are playing, and the risk that some movie theaters are taking by opening, but also movie studios taking by holding on to those movies and trying to still release them this year. Now, not a summer movie, but it was supposed to open last April, on my birthday in fact, No Time to Die, the next James Bond movie. That's currently, right now, still in November. We'll see what happens to that if things don't go well as movies starting to open up. Tenet is right now. Now this is very interesting, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this. For the first time, a major studio release, at least in the United States, is getting a wide release everywhere but the United States. On August 31st, Tenet will get a wide release in the UK and lots of Europe, lots of Asia, where normally Asia wouldn't even get the movie until way on later on. And we won't get it for another 4 or 5 days afterwards. Of course, plenty of time. As far, social media is the worst at holding secrets and not delivering spoilers for you to find information about this movie, because it's going to be out all over the place. And so, how do you feel about that? It's a huge step for a studio to take. But this movie is already, its budget with marketing and shooting, it's over a $2 million movie. And they have to try and recoup that in the wake of Corona World and Corona Life. And limited theaters once they do open. It remains to be seen what the effects is going to be, but Tenet's surely going to be a test case for what happens with major movies for the rest of the year. Now, why don't they go right to DVD or right to streaming, right to on demand? Now, especially with movie prices, movie tickets these days, you go to a movie, you pay for it, especially if you go at normal time and not a matinee, ticket, drinks, popcorn, that's almost over $20. Forget if you even go to an IMAX movie. So now, what's the difference between doing that and paying $20 to rent or actually own the movie on video at home and seeing it in the comfort and the safety of your own home? Which do you prefer? Are you going to pay $20 to watch a movie, to own and rent on demand and streaming? Now, we've had some major movies that have already come out like that, like Invisible Man, that has come out. Some fairly successful on demand, people paying the price. Some people, like me, waiting till it dropped to a reasonable rental price. So all these things to consider as we get on with a very not meaningless, but not as much important part of our life, particularly the summer life, as regards to moving past the events of the coronavirus, particularly our entertainment, and how do we separate ourselves from the crazy that's going on, from everything that has taken us so far to this point of trying to bring some of our life back to normal. And certainly going to movie theaters is as normal, or one of the most normal things you can do. And have we gotten there? How do we get there? What are some of the movies you're looking forward to seeing? Do you want to get back in the movie theater? For me, even though I have big screen, and then people just have these enormous TVs nowadays, it's still about that experience and seeing that movie on the big screen with the sound. I really do want to see Tenet in the movie theaters. Am I going to be the first person in line, the first person in the movie theater? No. I'm very curious to see what happens, how it goes, and what the effects are of people being there, wearing the masks, not wearing the masks. Interesting to see the feedback. It's just an opportunity for us to get us out of the house, if we haven't already. Now, lastly, I'm going to finish up by talking about the bonus of, if you will, there is a bonus of what is going on, been going on with the movie theaters, in regards to the Corona life, drive-ins. Drive-ins have become the place to be, to go see the movies. Have you seen a movie in a drive-in since the lockdowns began, since the movie theaters have been closed? I know as a kid, I had the opportunity to go to drive-in theater, and it was one of the coolest things. I miss going to theater, to the drive-in. When I lived in Maryland, they have a beautiful movie theater, drive-in movie theater there. But now, all these movie theaters are opening up and being there for the people, and they're bringing back the older movies. A couple weeks ago, Empire Strikes Back was #1 at the box office. #1. And it hasn't been out, it got released 40 years ago. Jaws, back out in the movie theaters, on the big screen, on the outdoors big screen. Early on, before baseball and football started up, the Miami Dolphins and Texas Rangers both used their parking lots and inside their stadiums as drive-ins. So people got creative. I'd be really interested to know if anybody has seen a movie in the stadium so far. I thank you for joining me. Hope you had fun. Tuesday 10 Talk. I'll be here next Tuesday. I hope you will too. And we'll have something else to talk about. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. And thanks for enjoying. I hope you did. Be safe, be good to each other, and I challenge you to smile to one person today or tomorrow if it's tonight that you're watching this. But even though you have your mask on, as you should, they're going to know you smiled at them. Take care.